When a cursed murder enters a battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature, 2/1 for 2. That's cool. That's like a new effect. Cheaper, better. Recurring Nightmare is back. Or, all these huge Eldrazi. Could be a role player in some spots now. I'm gonna just mention it, I guess. I'm gonna give it a 4. Unless someone is really hyped about it. Yeah, I know it's Wolf. It's 1 mana cheaper and it doesn't care about tokens. Alright, one of the most exciting cards in the set. Estonian? Is that how you say? Estonian Nightmare? Wait, is Estonian a real word? My Google Doc recognized the spelling. I guess it is. Relating or inhabiting the underworld. Stonic.
Sonic. Sonic.
Sonic.
Sonic.
Xonian.
Sonian.
Just Sonian?
Sonian.
Okay. Henry VIII. Thank you so much for the tier 1. Welcome to the sewer. Xonian or Sonian? Do you even say the K? Yippee. Alright, so when it enters the battlefield, you get free energy. Then you can pay X energy, sack a creature, return it to the Nightmare. All that is in the cost. Return target creature card with mana value X from a graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So kind of like Recurring Nightmare, I think. Pretty much exactly the same, the way it works. What's the best thing you can do on turn 2? You can go turn 1 Stitcher Supplier, turn 2 Dad, get back like an Osmo or any free mana card really. It's not an energy card. You want to say that one more time? Hot take. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to generate extra energy. You can just generate your energy as you go, bringing back 0, 1, and 2 mana creatures. I'm teasing Cosmo. I do miss some messages sometimes, so it's good that it's okay to repeat a message if I didn't see it the first time. Yeah, you can return Grist. Yogg's gonna be pretty tough to build. I mean, Yogg's already tough to build with the last few cards, and now you get a bunch of potential role players. It flips the new Grist. Return the Whale. Any good with the blue black from that discards? Not really, right? Just to get back the frog. Surely this build its own unique archetype. The Yogg bar is pretty high, The Yogg bar is pretty high. You don't want to just be a worse Yawgmoth deck that relies more on the graveyards than Yogg does, with less flexibility than Yogg does. Maybe this was some of the free mana food creature combos. The Maya deck. Yeah, I was thinking just, I don't know. What's good, like Stitcher Supplier, maybe Archaeologist. I mean, Witness, Eternal Witness is always good, was Nightmare type of cards. Grief. First you get back a cheap card, then... I mean, Asma is really nice because it's a 0 mana card and you get to save up your energy for something bigger, right? What about just playing it in the Olurin deck to get back your combo pieces or for your. Does that make sense? Give it a different angle. Because it's like the Ruin combo doesn't revolve around the graveyards. Like at all, right? Pretty much. I mean, it could obviously, but Stitcher Supplier Bloodghast deck, yeah, but is it going to be like a? It needs to be like a better, like Dredge is unplayable for because the graveyard is so good in Modern, right? So you don't want to just have a worse Dredge deck that revolves equally on your relies equally on your graveyards. Maybe even more arguably, because at least Dredge you can get some lucky draws where if they don't get their graveyard hate in the first 2 turns of the game, you get stuff on board and then it's over. Whereas this is like you have more time to draw the graveyard hate and stuff. Insidious Roots? I don't know, yeah, maybe. Seems unlikely, but why is Insidious Roots playable all of a sudden? It's like solely reliant on the graveyard. I mean, Rest in Peace is still a card. There's like Relic is a main deck card in some decks. Bowmaster. No one plays Rip. Yeah, but they might. They could. The Leyline of the Void Seas play. I mean, it's a cool card. I'm not really seeing it. I kind of want to give it only a 5. Could give it a generous 6. Sedekov. This plus Burning Tree Emissary plus Mana Filter is infinite reanimation. Okay. But what are we talking here? Like a multiple combo card that doesn't even kill you? Anyways, let's move on. Consuming Corruption. This card's mostly a worse Black March in the Coffers deck, right? Much worse Black March. Or just worse Black March on average. And then you have Necro, which makes it, I don't know, much better Corrupt. I mean, it doesn't target players. It's not a win condition. It's just a reactive card. Isn't it a better Black March? I mean, you can't kill Ragavan on the draw on turn 1. You can't cast it if you have like an awkward mana draw with one of your Field of Runes on turn 2. I mean, in current coffers, it's just worse than Black March. It's gotta be. Isochron Scepter, Mono Black Scepter. What if they don't have creatures or Planeswalker in their deck? I think this card is bad. I don't know about bad, but it doesn't strike me as anything special. Yeah, it's worse Black March since you can't convert cards given by the ring or Coffer's mana or Necro Dominance, right? That seems like a worse Black. I was excited about that card, but yeah, it just seems like even with Necro Dominance, right? You can go up to like 10 cards and then cast a huge Black March of 1 mana. Whereas this one just, and you're not going to have room for, I mean, maybe you have room for March plus some push and some corruptions, but it could be a sideboard card. If there's like a lot of aggressive decks, Flick Shot, I mean, Amped Raptor is a really powerful card that, you know, maybe you just want a million of that effects and you can never lose to a creature deck. So it could be a role player. I don't know, maybe give it like a 4.5. I mean, Black March could become like an 8 or something, and then this could be a 6, I guess. I think you're dismissing the redundancy. A deck with 4 rings for Necro having 8 of that effect. Yeah, I mean, it's contingent on that deck being good. Being something you actually want to do in Modern. But the Covers is good, so maybe. I'll give it a 5. I think I read Crabomination and it doesn't do anything, right? Alright, that card does stuff. 3 mana Saga, search your library. That's like the bit I caught from Sodex and MH3 the other day. They were around that part of the cards. Search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. Second chapter, turn the exiled card face up. If it's a creature card, you lose life equal to its mana value. So the first 2 chapters don't do anything, don't impact the boards. And then 3, you may put the exiled card onto the battlefield if it's a creature card. If you don't put it on the battlefield, put it in its owner's hand. So it's like a slow tutor, but if you don't get a creature, it doesn't cost you life. I think Sodek was mentioning they were mentioning it's like workaround. If people bring in hate for your creativity or your reanimate spells, then that card kind of dodges everything. Grumpy Man, thank you so much for the 5 months. Welcome back. Appreciate your support. Wantenda says, I enjoyed the latest YouTube video about getting better. It's a perfect combo of being educational and an old man reminiscing of good times. Yeah, I hope that's kind of what I'm trying to, make it entertaining and useful, and hopefully my editing gets a little more refined and better. And one thing I could do is insert actual clips of all coverage, not just pictures. And I haven't looked exactly onto how to. But it took me like 3 hours to record a 15-minute video. It takes me like almost half an hour just to record the audio and like all the editing and stuff. And this card sucks, really. Microphone speaking a little too close. Yeah, it has issues. I don't know what happened. I got on Teams this morning for a call, and now my mic doesn't work. I blame Teams. I blame Microsoft. I blame Bill Gates. Is it better now that I'm further from the mic? This card is that bad? Yeah, no proliferate. How do you proliferate easily? Alright, yeah, maybe. Alright, Crab does stuff against ring. Is it an anti-ring card? When it enters the battlefield, target open and exiles the top card of their library, a card at random from their graveyard, and a card at random from their hand. You may cast a spell from among exiled, emerge from artifact 7. So if you sack a Frogmite, it's 3 mana. Sack your own ring. Yeah, that's usually not a big deal, right? It's having to sack your own ring. Alright, chat, I need a break. Alright, Emperor of Bones. Winter's Coming or Skeleton Noble. 2/2 for 2 at beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Beginning of combat on your turn. Okay, so you get the trigger right away. 2 adapt 2. What's adapt 2? Just putting 2+1/+1 counters. And then whenever 1 or more counters, +1/+1 counters are put on the Emperor of Bones, put a creature card exile with Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield under your turn with a finality counter on it. It gains haste. So you can reanimate stuff, and you get come into play triggers. Free crime, free graveyard hate, 2 mana reanimation. How does he put counters on it? Cauldron is one. Any good ways to put counters on creatures? If you turn it into an ooze. Oh, the cage. The cage is back. Let's go. Hey Mangu, thank you. Do you like the old picture of Worldly Council? I said, did you like that there was the picture of Worldly Council? I don't know if you mean the one I uploaded today. The tips, the tournament tips. There's a picture of your team at some point. Oh, the top 5. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this one blew up. It was like my fourth video and I got almost 10k views. People love the top 5 though. Yours did really well too. Modern Horizon was pretty hype. Alright, we were talking about, it seems like that Honor's cover, I don't know. Yeah, we didn't get to any of these cards yet. So many ways Mengu are gonna be disappointed. So much hope right now. But all our dreams down the Yawgmoth Titan Living End drain. Every deck's gonna be a worse Yawgmoth deck. Yeah, can you play that deck in Gora's Vengeance? Let's say you get lucky. You draw 2 discards, mill. It's pretty slow. I mean, it's fast in some ways, but slow in other ways. Turn 4, I guess. You played on turn 4, adapt. They kill it in response. You've wasted 4 mana for a removal spell. But it does a lot of little things. I think the new cards are better than the current modern decks. Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's the goal. Yeah. No, I mean, I was kind of memeing. Is adapt an instant? I think adapt is sorcerer speed, but I could be wrong. It is nice with Thoughtseize, I guess, right? In some matchups. I'm not sure if that was the point, but I saw someone mention Titan and stuff. Or adapt is instant speed. I mean, technically you can go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Emperor of Bones, exile their Titan, turn 3 adapt it, and something like that. You can like turn 2 that, turn 3 Grief. You can like Grief and protect your Emperor of Bones, bring back a Grief, get their hand again. You can even do it in their draw step. You can adapt in their draw step. You can even adapt in their draw step. Alright, what should we give that card? 6.5? 7? We gave all these like mid plus white cards a 6, so it feels like this card's better than all the white cards we gave a 6 to. Well, let's do 6.5. Alright, does that card enable anything, or is that card pushed enough? 1 on flying artifact creature. Can only block creatures with flying. And 7 adapt 4. Costs 1 less for each artifact you control, each other artifact you control. And turns it into a 5/5 flyer. Does die to Bowmaster. Alright, let's go next, I guess. 2 mana. Eviscerator's Insight. Instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Draw 2 cards, flashback 5. Okay, I haven't seen that card yet. Pretty solid. No treasure. Yeah, I mean... So it is, the first one is a worse Daily Dispute is your point, which is true. Yeah, I don't think the flashback makes up for that, right? Is that card just worse than Daily Dispute? Alright, next then. Ooh, the Black Flare. Pauper is slow enough? Yeah, could see that. Alright, this one's getting rated for sure. Flare of Malice, 4 mana. May sack a black creature instead of paying the mana cost, instant. Each one sacrifice a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value. Just super solid card. So many black creatures I want to sack it. There are some really good ones. Supplier, Bloodghast, Gravecrawler. The fact that it's instants means that you can abuse Necro Dominance too. You can draw up more than 5 cards and play that card at instant speed. You're kind of good on removal though, between Black March, the new one, Maybe push, now flare. Depends on your necro build, I guess, if you have a lot of creatures to sack. Yeah, I agree, this is probably not exciting in any current decks. Like, even Scam's not really interested. Scam has Bowmaster, but not sure. They have Terminate. There's not that many Planeswalkers. I don't know how good that card's going to be. People are really going to want that effect. What are we rating that card? I'm honestly not too sure. 7. 7 sounds kind of high. I mean, you can still pay the 4 mana. It's kind of expensive for removal, though. 6, 7, 4, 5, 6. Alright, sounds like we've got a 5.5. I'm not like super excited about that card. Is the Grim Servant playable? 4 mana, free 2 mana, Zombie Warlock. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a card whose mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black. So him alone is 1. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Then shuffle, you lose 3 life. Oh yeah, you can get lands. Too much mana. Friend Scoffers. Wallen the Machine, welcome to chat, says an answer needs to be pretty damn good to get a good grade as opposed to threats. Yeah, there's so many good removal, especially in black. Is it not worth it to like fix your mana in coffers, but EDH card? Alright. I'm gonna grade it. I'm gonna give it a 4, I guess. Alright, that's the new Bowmaster. 1, 2, 4, 2, fabricate 1. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put in a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Alright, who's got the hot takes on whether or not that card makes it into Yogg or is better than Blood Artist, etc., etc., etc. No, it is. Is it the exact triggered ability of Disciple of the Vault? I didn't even think about that. Maybe it's an affinity card. Bobby was the hottest top takes. Yeah, obviously the live gain is important. But the fact that Apprentice doesn't suck when you actually draw it and is even like quite decent. Disciple of the Vault ever seen play Modern? I don't know. I think it was banned right away. I think all the artifact lands were banned right away, but I forget. Oh, Disciple didn't count on creatures, counted only artifacts. It's good with Cord, obviously. It's good with Grist. I've never played Yogg, but it doesn't seem to me like Yogg ever really struggles to have something to sack to Grist. Some guy was playing Disciple of the Vault at my LGS and people kept calling the judge confused thinking it was banned. Yeah, I mean, as long as he's not playing the artifact lands. Losing the life gain seems a big cost. Yeah, but there's also these games where you're just ahead on life. Is this enough to kill your opponent if you have this 2 undying creatures and a Yogg and you're ahead on life? It is. I mean, that's kind of appealing. But yeah, I see. I don't know. Seems a little too weak for an affinity deck to me. If it was itself artifacts, and you got 2 artifacts, would obviously be a bonus. I mean, maybe there's some black decks that just want 4 Bowmaster and 4 Apprentice and have a lot of sack fodder, and I don't know. Should we give it a what, a 4? 4.5? People don't think this is gonna be good in Yogg. Not gonna replace anything or be a one of. At most a one off. No shot in Yogg, sorry. I think no shot is all strong, but 3.5. Oh, we give Grim Servant a 4. Maybe Grim Servant's too high. Okay, I'll give Grim Servant a 3. And then Apprentice a 4. Alright. That card, I mean, it could be great, it could be a bust, it could be somewhere in between. Triple black, legendary enchantment, skip your draw step. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do draw that many cards, your max hand size is 5. If a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Better than the ring? Probably not, just because it's one color. Hey Edgar. Just give it a 10? No, I'm not giving it a 10. Exile for Besiege. Yeah, I was playing Vraska, Golgari Queen, and Timeless to get rid of actual Necro. You can curve this into Shelly, unlike the ring, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Necro used to power combo decks back in the day. Is there any, like, ad nauseum, any combo decks? That would be happy to have that card. Ad nauseum. Probably not. Goryo. The Exile Clause makes it awkward with reanimate stuff. So what's the most likely build of that? Do you want to play like cheap creatures, Phyrexian Tower maybe? Do you want to play like just Grief? One issue I had was the Necro deck. It was all underpowered when I didn't draw Necro. So I started adding One Ring to the deck. I started with 1, then I was up to 2. Let's say it was just saying, 4 Necro, 4 One Ring. Could just be that, just 4 Necro, 4 One Ring, 4 Black March, 4 of the new Corrupt cards, and the 2-mana Drain. And then, whatever cheap cards, 4 Bowmaster, 4 Ring, some Shellys, some discard spells. Oh, Halfling casts it because it's a legend. That's kind of sick, actually. Ooh, that sounds good. And you have Hierarch too, black. Yeah, maybe black-green. Was Halfling and Hierarch. Could do something. Yeah, I mean, could be good. I mean, people play the One Ring in Yogg, right? You could just play that card in Yogg as well. Still rough on the mana for Yogg, but... Oh, Exile doesn't work very well for Yogg, true. Is turn 2 Necro dominance where you want to be? Yeah, it does reduce your hand size to 5. That's a good point, actually. You don't really want to... You don't want to really ramp into it. Good point. A 6, probably. I'm going to give it a solid 7, I think. I mean, Coffers is already a good deck. And that card could, make the archetype better, change it a bit. Maybe you don't even play Coffers anymore, but... The Netherglyph. That card just seems so solid overall. 4 Rings, 2 Necro. I don't think you can play Necro in Coffers. You can't play Field Over in Coffers, because you're never going to be able to cast it on turn 3. Might not even play Coffers. Just kind of lower to a ground version. No Karn. Yeah, that card just seems so little downside. 1 black mana. Ghost Power is equal to the number of cards. Card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that plus 1. So it's only your graveyard, but it's only 1 mana. It has Escape, which seems like it will be relevant in plenty of games. 3 mana, exile any number of other cards from a graveyard with 4 more card types among them. So, yeah. You could play Old Swamp, Coffers, and Necro, and the new Drain spell. Yeah. In the Coffers, man, that's always so tricky. Yeah, you just give up on Field of Runes. I mean, do you even want to play Coffers and risk not being able to cast Necro? What are you going to play multiple Coffers and multiple Urborg and draw 2 a lot and get stuck? Also, Coffers without Urborg makes your 2 mana drains lives worse. Yeah, if it's a 3/4 on turn 2, I think, you know, so that's like a fetch land. It's not trivial, it's like a fetch land, a bubble, and a discard spell or a removal spell. Was Ring and Necrate on each. Yeah, I was thinking maybe just play one Urborg, one Coffer, even, you know, maybe 2 and 2. Something like that. Who would play that card right now? Turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Prism, turn 3 Necro, Angel's Grace, win? I don't know what that means, I don't get it. Like with Scam, cut 4 cards to play 4 Goyfs. Are you playing 4 Goyf still? Or are you cutting Goyf? It's another card that actually sucks against Rest in Peace. If like Graveyard becomes too good. Might nerf the Nether Goyf. Roots. I didn't have Insidious Roots on my list of cards to try, but sounds like we might. Alright, what should we read the Nether Goyf? It's like so solid, but also maybe not powerful enough somehow. 8, I'm not reading that card in 8. 10. 8, wow. I was thinking max 7. I don't know, I feel like that card could fall flat. I'm gonna give it a 7. It could like not quite have a home, not quite be good enough. Also, Endurance shrinks it. At least Goyf like doesn't get totally shrinked. Like Endurance shrinks it, Relic. Oh no, Rip. Everything's a 7? That's not true. I mean, of your pre-combat main phase. So it doesn't do anything the turn it comes into play. Seems bad. Oh, Familiar is sick? Oh, it has affinity for artifacts. 4 mana, affinity for artifacts, flying. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. For each one who can't, you draw cards. I think that's too low impact. Pauper Staple, sure. Check out quest. Okay. 1 black mana enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a quest counter on quest. 6 mana, sack it. Put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This ability costs 1 less to cast for each quest counter. So if you play turn 1 and then fetch land, it costs 2. That's pretty cheap. You need to draw your lands in the right order. Any graveyard, yeah. But if you're playing that card, probably hoping for your graveyard. APKS. Bad top deck. Yeah, that card does not seem great to me. Same for the Familiar. Shilgengar Seraph Famine. 6/6 flying for 5. Elder Demon. Sack another creature, create a blood token. If you sacked an angel this week, create a number of blood tokens equals its toughness. Demon sucks, yeah. Ooh, the Soul Trader is good. 3 mana, free, zombie goblin wizard, pay 1 life, sack another creature, create a treasure token. Alright, chat. How do we... Oh, Gravecrawler, right? Gravecrawler is infinite sack. But you need like a Blood Artist in play. So this this plus Gravecrawler plus Blood Artist is a kill, right? But you don't really want to play a deck with 4 Blood Artists in it. Sounds kind of heinous. Unless you have so much redundancy. Also get stubbed by Chalice, get stubbed by Rest in Peace. I mean, does anyone want that card for value? Just, like, would Yogg ever be happy to play that? Not really, right? Not in Yogg. What's other ways to abuse, like, the Gravecrawler synergy? Also worked with Rosie. What does Rosie do? +1/+1 counter? So for every time you sag the Gravecrawler, you put a +1/+1 counter? Because Rosie combos was another card, right? Oh god. Alright. Warren Soul Trader. What are we rating that one? A 5? 3, a 4. 4 or 5. Alright, let's do 4.5 then.